Just get her out of the way. Right here. Hey, Olaplex users. How are you guys today? Well, here we are. So excited to be with you guys today. This is so exciting. My neighbor just pulled in on his Harley. Okay. I'm just gonna give it to you. And you can get started because nobody's.
Yeah, so I guess we got a few minutes we can hang out and talk if you want for a second. Or unless you just want to jump right in, but I figure we might as well wait till we have an audience in there, right? So tell me, when did you first get interested in extensions?
I don't know, probably in my Barbie days.
Oh, it started then.
I don't know. I like all things hair, so kind of just worked out that way. Let me walk over here real quick. Get these over here. We're gonna need these. Okay. Well, let me get started and introduce myself, and we can go back over that again later. So my name's Audra, and I've been a stylist behind the chair for 14 years, and I specialize in balayage, blonding, and dimensional color. But I pretty much like everything hair, so I thought today I would bring to you some hand-tied education since it seems like I answer a lot of questions about it on this page. So let's get started. Hand-tied extensions, the reason that they're called hand-tied extensions is because this weft of hair right here, oops, at the very top, if you can look really close, you can see that little tiny seam right here is actually a hand-tied. It's not machine sewed. So it makes it very, very fine, and it lays really, really, really close to the scalp to give you a really natural look. So, yeah. That's why they're called hand-tied. Though today I did see a Modern Salon magazine that it said they were called hand-tied because you tie them in by hand, which is technically a sew-in, right? So I guess it is a sew-in method, but the reason they're called hand-tied is because this seam is hand-tied. So we're gonna start out, if we were gonna prep our client here, we would actually go in and we would use a clarifying shampoo and conditioner on her, and then I would do an Olaplex treatment, and then I would flat iron her hair really smooth so that there's no curl to it, especially if she has like a little bit of wave. So that's how we would prep our client. Now, the people that are not suitable for hand-tied extensions are people who have undercuts or shaved napes because the hair just doesn't lay right. People who have gone through chemo, I'm sorry for that. These really aren't for you unless you haven't had chemo for over a year. And if you've had a baby, same problem. You shouldn't really do hand-tied extensions within a year of having a baby or chemo because the hair is just not in the best shape for it to be tugged on and pulled on by any kind of stress. Now, also, if your natural hair falls shorter than the occipital bone, this method of extension is not for you because you won't be able to hide the beads good enough. People with extremely curly hair, the company I use doesn't make curly haired extensions for hand-tied extensions, so I have to say no-go in my chair. I don't know about other companies, I only use Babe. So the people who get spray tans regularly really don't want hand-tied extensions. You don't want any extensions to really get that spray tan paint on you or your hair. It might stain it or ruin it. And hair is really expensive to be ruining it with spray tan. So daily hair washes, if you're gonna get extensions, you're not going to be washing your hair daily. So you're probably gonna want to steer away from extensions or steer away from daily hair washing. That's pretty much where that's gonna be. You're not gonna be able to do both. And extremely fine hair is also a no-go. If your hair is prone to like damage from heat or any kind of breakage, then you're not gonna want hand-tied extensions. So next thing we're gonna talk about is the tools. Are you zoomed in really good here? Because I don't need them to see my the tools. So let's go over the tools here that we're gonna be using. Let's see. Those are for now. Let's see. First thing is your hair extension tool. And that is going to be this concave tool over here. And then the next thing we're going to look at is the loop tool. And this is the tool you're going to use. And you're going to put your beads on here. These are the beads. And this is how we're going to pull the bead onto the hair. Next, we're going to go over the silicone beads, which we just talked about are on the little tool right here. They're silicone on the inside, so it's supposed to prevent as much damage as possible. Next, we'll have the weaving thread, which is your typical hand-sewn weft weaving thread. And then we're going to have your weaving needle. Babes recommends these little stork shears. They look like a stork, that's why they call them that. But any shears will work fine. Duck bill clips, and then little mini clips. Also, Babes gives you, if you use theirs, these little cool tools like this. It just helps you with like picking out the hair and keeping things really tidy, but sometimes I don't use that. So sometimes I literally just use this, my rat tail comb. So, yeah. Now, moving on to the application process over here. This is a diagram I drew out of my space alien face person, so don't look at that. But you're basically going to apply the wefts 3 here below your parietal ridge, starting in the nape. You're going to start about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the hairline and about 1 inch up from the bottom of the nape hairline. And then we're going to go on the top, on the sides, and I like to start my top right above where the top nape section ends right here. So this would go in here. It's really not going to go that high up, but and so this is the diagram. These are going to be the knots where you're going to tie in the weft of hair. The red is the thread. It's going to lie right above the bead when it's tied in. And then the weft of hair is going to be covering the beads like this. So it's going to be the thread and then the weft. Okay? And with our mini clips, we're going to go in and we're going to put them right above where each bead is at. And that's just going to help us predetermine where we're going to tie our knots. All right? Cool. Well, let's start sectioning and get going. Let's see. Let me move that. Too many tripods and not enough room. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of section out this area above the parietal ridge right here. I like to really, my hair is super elevated. Yes. Lift up out of the way to start. Okay. Now, on the front, let me show you this. When I section her out, the way I was taught was you do it in a T shape, but since I've been doing this, I figured out I like to do it with just a little bit of the front, maybe like 2 inches sectioned out off the hairline. Because later on when I go on to come in here and add those side parts in, I'm not quite sure where they're gonna lay yet until we get this last one in up here. So just taking out this minimal space gives me all this hair that I can work with without having to keep moving these parts. It just makes the sectioning really easy. I don't like to make things complicated, and then I could do 100 sections if it makes my life easier. So that's just me. Let's see. Okay, so along the hairline, we are going to section out maybe like an inch. Okay, and then her head's going to spin because that thing's not tightened down right. Mannequins are so weird, aren't they? So much easier to just tell your client, can you just turn your head a little? There we go. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, about an inch of length between the perimeter and the beginning of where our wefts are going to go. And then we're going to section out about an inch at the bottom here as well. So you're going to want to take this line, it's not really going to be straight across, it's going to kind of come at a slight U shape. That's going to help your weft lay right. If you do it straight across, it's just not going to go in the right way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to start our beads and put in, I'm going to show you how to do a row of beads on this mannequin to start. And so let's turn you this way. I hit that fan a little too hot here with the doors. Okay, so we're going to put a double anchor right here on each side of our section, okay? The reason is that's going to give us our strength right here. And so we're going to take a section, and it's going to be about 1 bead high and 2 beads wide. So it'll be about this big of a section. And then if you look over here, it'll be about 1 bead high, okay? Now we're going to take our tool and we are going to just pull our bead through like so, okay? And then we're going to take this. This tool is a little bit concave. And we want that concave tool to go right up against the head like this, okay? So, take the bead here. Now when we do this, we're going to take it, we're going to pinch it twice. We're going to pinch it the first time, but before we pinch it, we want to take this hair and we're going to make sure that it's at 0, there we go, 0 gravity. We want it to go like just like that, no elevation at all, right? Keeping our tool against the head, we're going to flatten it once, and then we're going to flatten it twice, okay? Yeah, it should be good. So, that's our first bead in there. See that? Awesome. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take another section right next to where the last section was. So see how this section's here? The next hair right here, we're going to take it and we're going to do a second bead with no space in between it and the previous one. So, and again, it's going to be about 2 beads wide and 1 bead thick, okay? And we're going to take our trusty loom tool over here again. And we're going to grab our bead. Oops. This one's bent funny. It doesn't get a chance to straighten it out really good. Okay, so there we go. And now that's in there. take this bead here. We're gonna hold it right up against the head, 0 elevation on the hair. Pinch it once, and then we're gonna kind of pinch it twice. And there we go. So now we have our first 2 beads anchored in, okay? Now, the next bead we're gonna do, let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. We're gonna put a space between this bead and the next bead. When I learned how to do it, they told me to do it about a finger width this big, but ultimately, after doing clients, I found out that that's a little bit too far apart and they don't hold in good and there's more potential for snagging. So I like to put mine, I would say like an eraser width, so like the top of my little finger, apart. So start where the hairline starts right here, because this is a mannequin, so it's not like a real hairline. But that far apart would put you here. You're gonna make your little area where you want to put your bead in. Okay. It's pretty good. Get a little straighter here. So now you can see there's hair right here between where I'm gonna put this bead and that bead, okay? That's about how far apart you want these to be. We're gonna put our next bead in here. It's really simple, it's just very repetitive. So take our tool, take our bead up, put that concave tool right against the head, 0 elevation on the hair, clamp it once, take the tip of your tool, clamp it a second time, just to make sure it's in there good. There we go. And that's our third bead. Moving on, we're gonna do the same thing. And now you really wanna start to think about how much room you have before you're gonna put our last 2 anchors, because our last 2 anchors are gonna need to start right here next to each other. So we're probably just gonna put 2 more, and that'll be the anchor, and that'll be your neckline, okay? That's gonna be your nape. So let's measure with our finger. We're gonna put another bead in here. Our loom tool. We're gonna loom that through. Take our tool here. And 0 elevation. Clamp it once. Clamp it twice. There it is. Okay. And our last one. It's a little bit tight, but okay, so the last one is this one. And alright. And then ultimately that gives us about a 1/2 inch from the hairline. So that's about right. Perfect. Let's see. This is a little bit. I really cleaned there. Really helps you if your body is parallel with your mannequin so that your beads lay right. If you try to do it from the side, they're gonna be angled. You really want them to lay kind of flat and flush against the head. So, all right, looks good. Okay, so you see there's no hair in between these 2 pieces because these are our anchors, and then these are anchors, and we have one right here. And that's really all we can fit in the nape right here. So if you look, and I took this section out, how I sectioned it, that's the nape. Okay? So now what I would do, a lot of the time I like to, a lot of times I like to take a 10-inch weft and then fold it in half. And I would sew this weft in right here on this hairline, doubled up, because it should be just about 5 inches of beading right here in the first row of the nape, and it gives you like a nice strong baseline. So it's an option. If you don't want to do that, you can just take, if you're really just going for length and not thickness, you could just take this weft and do the same exact thing, this 5-inch weft, and you would pretty much just sew it just like that. So that is how we would do that. Now if we were going to go into a second section of beads here, from where we sectioned it out, I would go up about 1 inch or so. Okay, and then from there, so then my next row, if I was going to do the next row, would be basically right here, just like so. And then we would go on, so on and so forth. So I would say probably like this. Okay, my next row would go here, and then my third row would go there. And that would be my 3 rows of beads. So, since it's so repetitive, and it's really simple to grasp, I'm just gonna go ahead and I made another mannequin over here that I've already kind of sectioned off and did 2 rows of hair in so you can see what it's gonna look like. So here's the first 2 rows I did in her hair so far, and I only used 1. Oh yeah, so I doubled the 10-inch weft on the bottom, and then I did a 5-inch weft, and now I'm gonna, or another 10-inch weft, and I'm gonna do the last 10-inch weft through this section. So this section would actually be this section we're gonna work on. Ooh, wait. So before I do that, actually, I forgot. I wanted to go ahead and show you. You're supposed to be reminding me of these things. You know, I had a plan here. Here, let's see. Okay, so actually, what I wanted to do is go in and show you. Let me put this guy up a little bit so I can see better too. Okay, let me move him over here so the light. Can you see him good? You want me to hit him so the light can hit him better? Is it easier to see like that?
There's more light, yes.
Is that better? Okay.
Yes.
Because this is kind of hard to see. So that's our first row here. Okay. What I wanted to do was go in and show how to tie the wefts in, but without the actual weft, because it's easier to see it if you. This mannequin stand is so finicky. China. Okay. Okay. That's better. Usually I would just be like, can you just tilt your head forward? We don't have to go through all that. Okay. So, how we would actually sew this with what it looks like without hair. I just want to pull this a little bit tighter through here so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay, that's better. 27 clips later. So to get started, what I would do, you're just imagining there's a weft of hair on here, okay? We're gonna take this and we're basically gonna do this. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tie a knot around the weft, through the weft with the thread, okay? So we're gonna tie our thread on here and you're just gonna do like a basic knot. 1 and then 2, okay? 2. That's that. Okay. So now, once that's tied on, and then you have your weft of hair, you're gonna basically tie knots from this side around this, and then from the middle around that. So you're gonna have a knot here and you're gonna have a knot there, okay? So you're gonna come down. Now this is where you gotta remember, normally I would have a clip here holding a weft on, kind of like so. And it's gonna remind me where I'm at. It's a guide. So you're gonna go around this side first, okay? Now when you do that, then you're gonna create a loop and a tail here. So the person who taught me used a really cool analogy, and I'm gonna use it for the rest of my life probably when I do this. So you're gonna take your person and they're gonna dive into the pool for the first loop, okay? And then when you pull the knot tight, you kind of want to elevate it up so that it lays above the bead. And then I got some mess in here. I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing better.
Thank you. It's a little messy.
Yeah, it was a little messy, you could tell. That's what that little pick's for. You use the needle, you can use red velvet, you can use anything to get that out there. You just want to stay tidy. Okay, so now round 2, we're gonna go through it again. And then we have our loop and our tail again. And we're gonna come, this time, back out of the pool. So we dived in, and we're gravity and oxygen and water, we're gonna go back up to the top. So now we're coming out of the pool. Okay. Alright. Let's pull it up. We take our little tools here. And we're just gonna kind of like tidy our section out a little bit so it's not all crazy looking. Now then, what we've just created with the pool and the 2 knots is we've just created 1 knot right here on this side of the bead. Okay, that's what we've just done right there, that 1 knot. Now we're gonna do the other side and we're gonna create the second knot. So, we're gonna go into our pool, okay? And then we're gonna have our loop again. Let me get that hair out there to see what that's about to happen. Okay, then, so we're gonna go dive into our pool, pull our thread. We're gonna wanna elevate it so it falls above the bead, right? And then we're gonna do it again. We're gonna go around this side of the bead. Okay. And we're gonna come up out of the pool or out of the water. All right. Now then, that created our second knot, which is this knot right here. So now we've done both of those knots. Now, if you were to move on to the next bead, we'll just do 1 little knot so you can see the line. I'm gonna go down into the middle. I like to go into the middle of the bead and then just veer off the needle whichever direction I want it to go, either left or right, depending on which side I'm working on. So here we go. We've got our loop here, right? We need to go which way? Into the pool. We just dived in. Dive it in. Okay? Now then, elevate it. Get our knot up here. Clean that up a little bit. It's kind of messy. Okay. So, now then you can see right here, there's that line. You see that line right there? That line is actually this line on the diagram right here. This line, which would be there. It would be this line. You just can't see that.
The red line?
Yeah, the line in between. So it's like 2 knots. These are anchored close so you wouldn't really see it. But where this is next, that's this line in between that you see. So then we started our second knot and then we just go so on and so forth all the way through. Okay? So that is what we would do, but normally there's gonna be weft. So now let's get started on the real mannequin. I'll show you how we do it with the weft hair. We gotta get a bigger space up in here. Okay. Here we go. Next. Cool. Okay, so now that we're actually gonna do our weft of hair, we're gonna measure the thread for our needle 3 times. I'm kind of liberal about my 3 times because I've run out of thread before, so twice, at least 3 times. Okay, we're gonna do at least 3 times the length of the hair we're gonna be sewing on. So. We're gonna do it like this. Here we go. Now, this weft is too long for this hair, so I'm gonna have to cut it. So I'm gonna cut it about right here. Let's see. Let's try it again. Okay, so come over here. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna cut the hair. So Babe makes this hand-tied weft extensions adhesive glue so that if you need to cut your weft, you can glue it. Because if you cut this and you don't glue it, the whole thing is gonna fall apart. So you've gotta glue the top wherever you cut it at, basically immediately. So I'll double check my measurement before I cut it and ruin my expensive hair, which, so let's show you this. Here we go, we're gonna just cut that. Okay, right there. See, we cut it now. That was that, and we cut that in half. I'm just gonna take it, so you can see where it starts to come apart so quick. I'm gonna take this glue, and it's got like a little small brush, and you're just gonna like adhese the end of it, basically. There we go. And this stuff, I feel like it has super glue beat. I've literally glued extensions to my fingers and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So, yeah, cool. So now our extension, let me just, okay. So, now then, now our extension should be much better. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take the pin. What time are we at? I mean, how long have we been on here?
We're at 33 minutes.
Okay. So we're gonna take that, and we're gonna pin this each weft, just like that, okay?
Are you clipping it through the bead?
I'm clipping it like it shows on the diagram. It's basically going like this. It's just enough.
Okay.
Right. So when I sew, I want to sew on each side of that. So what happens to me is I start talking to my clients, and then, you know how you're kind of like, ooh, was that a slice or was that a weave? Like, what was that? Well, that kind of happens sometimes with this too. So I really don't use the clips for what they say they're for, but for me to just keep me in line so I know which bead I just did or where I'm at, because this does get a little bit hectic sometimes where you can't exactly tell what's going on. And then if there's like a salon life going on where they're talking and people are coming in and their phone's ringing and people are like, hey, you want to buy some snacks or some flowers or whatever, pecans or whatever they try to sell you when they come in. It's like, okay. So this just keeps me organized and my thoughts consistent while I'm thinking about 100 things at once. Okay, so, and I don't know, but some people tie these in. I don't like these, so I just, these little strings, it just messed me up. So I just take them off.
Those are attached to the weft?
The little strings, yeah, these are the weft strings. That's the end of where they tied them. They come on all of them, I just don't like them. Oh, one thing I wanted to say was this. So I told you guys I use Bates. Bates actually sells sample hair. So you could do this at home if you wanted to. You can buy the sample hair. It's not gonna cost you $220 a pack. It's just sample hair. Like, it's not real hair, I don't think. But it works, and yeah. That way you too can have fun in your own house. Tying it up. Let's see, okay? So, we're gonna start with our first tie here. We're gonna tie it over here. And this is kind of why I don't like to do this. There we go, okay. So, there we go. So this is gonna be the beginning of our weft. I'm gonna tie it in here.
Is that immediately on the outside knot?
This is the outside knot, yep. This is
Or the inside of the outside knot?
Yeah, it's exactly where that first knot would be.
Right.
I just tie it and then I start the process. So I tie it on the outside here. So if I can take this off, you can see it. I just tied it on like this half, there's the bead.
Got it.
And then I tied it on this half.
Got it.
So, let's see. All right, cool, here we go. So now we're gonna start our process. I take this, let's take that clip off so we can see it a little better because it's hard to see. I know what I'm doing, but and I can tell by the feel, but you can't see. So here's the bead right here. This is the halfway mark where we start. And here we go. We're gonna take our string. This is a really long one because I'm gonna have to do the top of it too. So we're gonna take it and then we're gonna go through the pool, into the pool, right? We're in now. And going down. We'll pull that tight. Sweet. Clean that up a little before you're too tight. And that's our first
Let's see if I can switch it
knot.
up.
Yeah, can you see this knot over here? Like there's a knot on there. See the knot on the
Yeah,
right?
that's easier.
So that's the knot. There we go. And there it is, kind of at the top of the left. Okay, so now we're gonna go through it again. Pretty much the same spot. And then we're gonna come back up, ready? Through the pool. So, and then we're gonna kind of, I like to over direct it so that the knot lays on the top. Okay, then grab our tool, clean that up a little bit. All right, there we go, it's more clean out of it. And then we're gonna do it again. We're gonna go do the same bead. This time we're gonna go the opposite direction. So here we go. Here's our bead, here's our loop, and here's our tail. And we're just gonna go diving into the pool. All right, and then pull our string, and then I like to, like I said, over direct it so that, okay, if you look right here underneath my fingernail, I don't know if you can see it right there. If I loosen it, you can't see that right there, that line. Okay. That's gonna be the line on the top of there on the diagram. So that's the first loop, okay? Now to finish off the first bead knot, we're just gonna go around again. And now we're at the bottom of the pool, and this time we're gonna finally come up for air. Hope your guy can hold his breath as long as my guy can. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Okay, now we have one whole weft bead of the weft tied in. There we go. The first one is done. So now we're gonna start, this is our anchor part. We're gonna start our second one here. So right here, there's our bead, right there. We're gonna go in the middle of it, just like this. And we're gonna come out on the side a little bit. And we are going to, what's next? We're gonna go swimming. So we're gonna go dive into the pool. It's really repetitive, I promise. It's just the same, it's so simple. If you like sewing or embroidery or any kind of craft, it's like therapeutic. You're gonna love to do this. And you also make good money doing it, so that helps too. So, okay. Money and fun. Who knew? When the two collide, it's called hairstyling. So then, we're just gonna come out of our pool here. Okay. First one. And we're gonna go through it again. We're gonna dive into our pool. We're gonna go pull this up. There we go. So not there. And go through it again. So come out of the pool. And just like that. Good and there. See how tight that is? It doesn't come, you can pull it, it doesn't come out when you make sure you got your knots right. You'll know, because if you pull it and you don't have your knots right, it's gonna get loose. So, here we go, on our third weft here. Our third bead rather. There's that. It is our third weft too. So, we're gonna go ahead. Go around this side. Veer off a little to the left so that we can, and then here's our, oops, can't be in there. Okay, here's our loop. Now this is gonna be wider through here. If you see how wide this is gonna be, that's because we did our two anchors and they were right next to each other, and now we have a space. So that's normal if you see that. It should be a little wider here than it was there. You're like, well, this is different. So, okay, we're gonna dive into our pool. That's where we are here. So now we're in our pool, and we're just gonna pull that tight against the head. Okay, now you can see that string lays right above the weft, just like a picture of the diagram. That's what we're looking for. We wanna make sure that string lays above there. Okay, so next we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go, I kinda wanna do a little bit more off the side, there we go, like that. So then, let's see. We're gonna come and we are gonna dive ourselves right into that pool again because it is about to be summer and we are about to be off lockdown, I hope. All right, here's that. And then we will go back again around that weft. Kind of same little area. It's okay if it's not right in the same spot, just close enough. And then we're gonna come out of the pool. Make sure the pool's like way in flat right now. Okay. So, now then we have our second bead. You can see it better here if like, where it's not so messy. Hold on. So we have the string and the weft. Okay, cool. Next. A little tighter. Okay. Next, we're gonna do it again. We're going to come through here. And we're going to dive into the pool. Okay. And then we have our thread right along the top of the seam right here. Can you see it good?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to go around again. So here's our bead. You can see it. See our bead right there? Can you see it good?
Yeah.
Where I'm going in?
Yep.
In the middle? Okay, so we're still off to the left side because we gotta go come out of our pool if we wanna go and dive again. Okay, so woo-hoo. There's that one. And just clean that up a little bit.
It's moving pretty quick now.
What's that?
No,
This?
yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just getting started. There's a lot of information. It's really repetitive. It's just over and over and over. So, okay. So next, here we are. We're going to dive into our pool again. Do a lot of pool diving around here. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Okay. So now it's going to come up. And I see that. Okay, let's take it. Let's not come anywhere. Look at that. Okay. I'll do that to clients. Their scalp's a little more tender. So, okay, next. Are you good? Can you see good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so we're going around. We're in our bead. See us over on the side of our bead?
Good,
You see
good,
that?
good.
Okay. So we're gonna come, and what are we gonna do, ladies and gentlemen? We're gonna dive into our pool. There we go. Awesome. We're gonna put down. We're gonna go out for our pool. There we go. And we're gonna go back up through our pool. And pull up a little here. There we go. Okay. And there we go. Okay. And we're gonna do the other side of our bead. And once again, here's our bead. Can you see it? That's our bead right there. And we're just gonna come through it. Angle it a little to the right. And then we're gonna jump into the pool. And then we're gonna go through a second time. And we're gonna come up through the pool, into the pool, out of the pool or whatever, out of it, into the oxygen. Okay. Let's clean this up a little bit. Cool. So cool. Okay. So, now then we are back at our double anchors here.
So this is the other end.
This is the other end of it. So that's like the whole, we've bared through the whole thing together. The whole weft. This is why we're not doing 3 bows together. It would take forever. This takes me probably, so to do 2 packs of hair takes me probably like 3 or 4 hours if all I do is like if it's not real thick. If it's thick hair and then I tone it and then it's taken me, my one client, 3 packs of hair and toning her hair and blow drying it out. It took me about 6.5 hours. So just depends. She's got a grip of hair because it took her 3 packs of hair and then we still put some tape pins on the top. So it was a lot. Okay. There we go. Now then, there's her bear there. Okay. Now her last one. Here we go. Make sure we're good. Okay, and our last one is here. Now then, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come around here. And we're gonna dive into our pool. Remember that part? We kind of want to go down first and then over direct the knot onto the top of the weft. And then we're gonna go down again. And we're gonna come up for some air out of the pool. And now for our last side over here. I'm gonna do a little further like this. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to go down into the pool. There we go. And then we are going to come up. Should go this way. And just like that, we've done the whole weft. And then there's a little bit here, so
So what are you looking at?
there's still a hole, so I'm going to go around one more time because I like to do this at the end, on the very end, and just tie it.
Is that just for good measure?
This, yeah, I just do it for my personal. Just because the ends are so likely to get funny. They're the one that's like, if you don't tie them in good, that's what the most
So
pressure gets put on right there at the end. So
is that like double knotted on that
yeah,
last?
I just
bead?
knot it on the end. around a second time basically on the end. You don't have to, but that's how I like to do it. I wasn't taught that way. I just feel like it stays better. So, okay. Now then, that we have this little bit left here, so sometimes we rather have too much than enough, so we're just gonna trim that little piece off and also glue that real quick. So, just to make it perfect, so it's not hanging off weird or anything. Just do that, and then I just do this again. I just clip this. Okay, pull that out. And then I just take this, a little bit of this, and don't get it in the hair, I just put it on the weft. Okay, there we go. Cool, just like that. This stuff is so sticky, it works so good. Okay, all right, so now we need to cut this off here. We're gonna cut our thread off and pull that hair out of there that's tidy. Next thing we're gonna do is, okay, so let me lower this a little bit because she's too tall for me when we get to the top of the head. Okay. Short people problems. Okay, there we go. Now, we've got this weft in here, and we got to do the sides. So this is why I tell you, I just like to do the small T frame in the front instead of doing it straight down the middle, because where this weft actually ended, these beads ended pretty close to diagonally above it. I went ahead and I already did one side, but I did a row of beads. You can see down here for 4 beads. And this is where I did the crown section. Can you show them on the diagram over here? So this section right here, we just did this section right here. Now we're gonna go ahead and I already did this section. And I'm gonna show you how to do it on the other side, but I'm gonna show you where I did it. So it's basically, I did 4 beads. She's kind of like me. She doesn't have a lot of hair through right here. So I'm not gonna use a 5-inch weft through here, even though that's what they're designed for. But instead of cutting it, I just fold my 5-inch weft in half, and that gives it extra thickness through here since we have so much hair already back here anyway. And so when we're done putting that 5-inch weft, which I did right here, you can see from this side what it's gonna look like when I pull it down. It's gonna lay, this is our 5-inch weft in here, right here. This is the side weft right here that blends that in. This is 5-inch weft, doubled over in half, and you're gonna kind of go at a diagonal because through this area. It's a slight diagonal, it's almost straight, but you just gotta figure out, every person's kind of different. You gotta figure out exactly how it's gonna fit them, depending on what their texture and canvas is. And so that's that side. So now, let's do that on this side. So, let's see. On this side, hold our head up. I'm good at the ponytail. Okay. Let's turn more toward the light. We're like so far away from the light. I feel like we just be. It's kind of like the ocean, how it makes you start gravitating. Okay. So now this is where we just finished our hair right now. Right here. I want to go up into this area right here, about, let's say, this far up, and I'm going to want to take it, see this diagonal line I'm moving on? So this is her face, and I'm moving kind of diagonal, horizontal. Can you see that good?
Got it.
Cool. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna put my beads in here. And let's see. I'll drop that just a little bit above the weft. Like so. Okay. Now we're just gonna clip that. hairs everywhere. It's funny how you're a stylist, but you don't like hair when things to you like that. It freaks you out. So, okay. Now, just a little bit more here. Okay, cool. So, now where is my... So this is my 5-inch weft of hair. But if you look, if I start it where I like to start it, which is slightly diagonal from the end of it, see how long it is? We don't want it to be like that. So I take it, and we're gonna just double it over. And if I put that here, right about there, this is where I'm gonna want that to lay. Okay, and that's gonna be hidden by the other hair. So, and with these beads, I pretty much just lay them right on top of each other. I don't put this space in between because there's just not that much. So it kind of depends a lot on people's hair size. Like if it's thick, how much texture they have. Here we go. So again, we're back at the beading. So we're gonna use our loom tool. Our loop tool. Loom and a hat over here. Okay, okay, so we're gonna take our concave, in case you missed it, this tool is kind of concave, it's meant to go, can you hit it from that top angle so you can see how it curves on the head?
I got it.
Okay, cool. And so, we're just gonna take it, we're gonna do 0 elevation on the hair that's in the bead, we're just gonna clamp it once, and then you're gonna clamp it twice, and that should be good. Oh, I forgot to show you, so, you really want to do 0 elevation, because if you extend this hair out like this, it's going to pop out funny like this. So, okay, so the next bead is going to be, remember, there's supposed to be 1 high and 2 wide bead width. So the hair, that's 1 wide before I think it's smashed, not after it's smashed. Okay, it's a little bit wider when they squish it, huh? So before and after you squish it with the thing. Okay, let's see. So, and pull it up there, 0 elevation, and we're just gonna squish it, and we're gonna squish it again. Okay, there's that one. Next. Let's see here. That's probably good. Too much. Okay, all right. So let's see here. So next, we are going to loop again. Okay. There's some trays over there. I don't like your trays on the wrong side. Lefty problems. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna clamp that once, and we're gonna clamp it a second time in the middle. 3, I don't know, 4 or should we 5? Let's see. It kind of just depends. I have to measure things, so I'm probably gonna do 2 more beads. Okay. Like I said, this is not how I learned to do it, but this is how I figured out in the salon that I feel like it works better. So there's a lot of different ways you could do this. When I was online earlier, I was reading about it, and Modern Salon, according to them, hand-tied has to do with the way that we sew this in. According to other, other extensions websites, of professional hair extension websites, is because the weft is actually hand tied itself. So, go figure. Modern Salon Has us trying to straighten this out for people and figure out exactly what a hand-tied left is. Let's see. Okay, so we'll put this last one in here for good measure. And here we go. I did order light colored beads and thread for this so you guys could see it better. However, even though I paid for the quick delivery, the Rona got us running a little slow on the mail situation, so we're making do with chocolate brown beads today. Okay?
It looks good. You can see it good.
Good. Have to save the blonde ones for myself. Okay. So that looks about right to me. So what I like to do, I don't like these pieces, is we'll tie this together like this. And then I'm gonna cut those off because I don't like those. Okay. Don't like these. Here. Get a tantrum. Like tantrum. Alright. Okay. Now, when I do a folded weft, I start sewing the folded side first. That's just a personal preference because it's easier to hold it together like that. And so I like things that make my life easy. It's organization, or if it is sectioning. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So here we go again. I'm just going to tie this on. All you do to remove these is basically just cut the thread that's in between the beads, and then if you just open the beads where the knots are at, it'll just slide right off. So, there we go. And now you're gonna want to move these up probably every 8 to 12 weeks. The way I charge for them is I charge double the cost. I feel like that's a rule of thumb. Pretty much every company tells you to charge double the cost of the hair for your application price. So, what am I doing this way? Makes so much more sense. Pin it and our angle where our beads are at. Okay. That one, close enough. Okay. So now, you're here. Put this. Okay, now we're gonna come through the pool. Okay. And we're gonna do it again. That's not crazy. So, okay. Okay. We're gonna come back out of the pool. And just like that. We've got the side of our extensions sewed in the first time. So next, we're gonna go in again, and we're gonna come out this side. Into the pool. Okay. So it's kind of like a little tight. It's funky when I all cause breakage. Which we don't want. That's our whole thing, is we don't want to cause breakage. Okay. Alright. There's our first bead tied in tight. Move on to the next one. Oh no. I got the string all tangled. I'm like, ah, okay. Okay, so now here we go. Come up into the bowl, elevate your thread. Sure we got it over directed so we get a knot on top. The top knot. Maybe that's where it came from. Just kidding. So, okay, and up. Out of the bowl. There we go. Now we're gonna go the opposite direction. And we're just gonna go into the pool. And we're gonna come back out of the pool. So, jumped in. Now we are floating to the top. There we go. Cool. So that's our second row. Can you look in here? There's our thread on my fingernail. You see that?
Yeah.
That's the thread between the knots. I'll put it on the diagram. Okay. Here we go. And we're gonna do it again. Imagine that. Okay, so we're gonna go. See the bead? Can you see the bead?
Got it.
Okay. We're gonna go halfway between. Whoops. A little too much pressure. Under pressure. Okay. So we're gonna go into the pool. All right. We're gonna kind of over direct that so the knot falls on top. Can you see that good? Can you see the knot right here? Not that great, but it's right there. So then see the thread. We're gonna do it again. And we're gonna take that part. And we're gonna come up out of the pool. Okay. There's that. And we're gonna do it again. On the other side of that. Same bead. Can you see that? Same bead right there. Okay. We're gonna come up through this way because we're gonna take a little bit, kind of veer off to the right a little so that we don't have our knots right on top of each other. We kind of want to anchor the things in. So, okay. So here we are gonna go swimming for a minute. And I'm ready for a beach trip. Speaking of swimming.
Yes.
Is a beach time? Okay. Are they open?
Depends on what state you're in.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. Here we go. We've got 2 more to go. So here's our bead. Can you see that? We're gonna go through halfway. We're gonna extend out. And we're gonna go into our pool. Over direct the thread. And we're gonna go in again. We're gonna come back out of the pool. And we're gonna over direct our thread. I feel like that's a little messy, so I'm just gonna take my little battle comb here and just kind of like pick through and see if I see any hairs I feel like are not good, which I guess everything looks okay. What's this? Is it good? There it goes. Okay. I felt it. Okay, so that's that side. Now we're gonna go on the other side. This way. We're off to the right. Keep that tidy. It gets harder when you get to the end, I feel like. Okay, so then we're gonna jump into our pool. And pull that knot over directed onto the top. Here we go. And we're gonna come out of the pool. And now his mom says he can only do it one more time. And then he's gonna go. So here we go. We're gonna go around the last little section here. Can you see good? There's the last bead right here. Okay. It's a little more complicated when it gets close like this. That's all right. Okay, so took the clip out so it's easier to see and it makes it hard to hold it. So, okay, so here we go. We're gonna go down into the pool, over directed up. Here we go. We're gonna go down again. We're gonna come up through the pool, or out of the pool, or whatever. So then, una más. I'm gonna go through here. we are gonna come into the pool. All right, and then we're gonna go in. We are gonna come back out of the pool. And then for good measure, I just like to go through the knot and just tie an extra knot in there. Just like that was sewing something to make sure that my seam doesn't come out. And yeah. So now then, I'm gonna cut this. I'm also gonna cut these a little closer because I just don't like them. I don't know why they bother me so much, but they do. So we take care of them. Okay, so now then, let's put down her hair. Now you can't see those. All right, awesome. I'm gonna take this brush here. Babes makes extension brushes. I'm sure other companies do too, so you don't snag your weft. I have one, but it's not here, so we're just gonna be fragile, gentle. Okay, so here's what her hair looks like now. What I would do now, if I was gonna cut these, but these are the practice extensions, I'm not gonna cut them, but I would take her front of her hairline and just kind of blend that in, and if I felt like anything needed some blending in there, I would go through and slide cut it. You would never elevate this really too much to cut it. You really just kind of want to blend it. I do a lot of slide cutting and razor cutting right through here, and to make them look real natural. So here you can see, you can't see it on either side of her hair. And if her hair was up in a ponytail, it would look like this. You can't see it anywhere on the hairline, really. So, yeah. So that's kind of the advantage of these. If you have any questions, you can just write them on the comments, and I will get back to you if I don't know the answer. Aside from that, thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I hope to see you all soon. All right? Thank you.